Namaskar. Apologies for the slight delay. Gentlemen, ladies, everybody, namaskar, and how are you?
Namaskar. Great to be back.
Namaste.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
me.
I'm going to bring now Nikunj Trivedi and Rishabh Saraswat and what is happening in Brampton and more importantly around across Canada. What all these protests that are happening. Well, looks like at this point of time, the majority, once they started raising their voice, the government doesn't like it, and the way it has played out when. First day, the Khalistanis were protesting in front of the temple, and consular services were provided to, I think, about 1,000 people or 2,000 people in order for them to give proof of life certificate. These are people who have worked in India in various government services, where in the month of November you are supposed to provide proof of life certificate. I'm just trying to establish the backdrop here, viewers. These camps were held in this particular mandir as well as in Lakshmi Narayan Temple in Surrey, British Columbia, in Vancouver area. So both these places, violence happened because looks like the chaos. Well, you can put any word after that. They didn't want this kind of stuff. They didn't want regular business to take place, so they tried to disrupt it. And I see no mention of that part yet. Now, what I would like to do is Rishabh is from CoHNA, Canada, and Nikunj is from CoHNA, United States. Nikunj, why don't you set the stage first, and then we can cut to various videos that you have prepped for us. We are going to take a look at some videos. Viewers, this is going to shock you. This is perhaps some of the stuff is exclusive content. Many people took videos. We had to go through many of those videos to give you the gist of what is happening. Over to you, Nikunj.
Yeah, no, thank you, Sree. And this is indeed a part of an ongoing frustration amongst the Hindu Canadians, and we are seeing this pattern play out all across North America, right? So what happened this week was a continuation of the incidents, but I call it a break point where now the Hindu community is very outraged because they're continuously seeing sort of violence against Hindus, this time Hindu devotees at mandirs, and enough is enough. So we're going to go through the timeline that Rishabh will share, but I want to say that this is becoming a breakpoint issue for the Hindu community in general. What we saw was a naked display of bigotry, of violence against us, and continuous provocation. No matter where we are, the moment we invite somebody from the Indian, consulate or anything like that, there's a wide strategy of protests, intimidation, sort of like fear, bigotry, etc., on display. And we have been seeing that across the board with many temples attacked, not just today, but over the past few years. So this has now become a boiling point for the community, and that's what we saw play out this week. The protest that we had, the peaceful protest, which, by the way, most people thought it was like for hours and hours, but it's only from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Officially, CoHNA protest, which was along with multiple organizations, so only from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. onwards. And at 7 p.m., we called the protest as officially ended. Unfortunately, whatever continued was not in our control, and that has nothing to do with CoHNA, but the crowd continued. People were still angry and unhappy with what was going on. But this is where we stand. And some of the videos that we will show double standards in police sort of like coercion brutality. And what I would like to showcase as a George Floyd moment, a minor George Floyd moment. Thankfully, it did not result in the death of the teenage boy. But if whoever knows about George Floyd incident that sparked a global Black Lives Matter movement, we were very close to that, unfortunately, in Surrey, where a teenage boy was thrust to the ground by multiple cops. He's unarmed, and is really scrawny teenage boy, just like a regular Indian kid, but he's being brutally held down and subdued by multiple police officers. So we'll see that too, as well as the violence that took place and the brandishing of open swords. You can see the brandishing of swords on streets in Brampton, and the police is right next to that, and nobody is taking any action, versus Hindu students and other people being arrested or being labeled as violent mobs and things like that. So all of these videos we'll see, but I'll turn it over to Rishabh Ji, who can talk about some of the incidents, particularly in Canada.
Thank you, Nikunji. Thank you, Sree. So I will just give a little bit of timeline on how things transpired on November 3rd first. As you know, at 12 p.m. it was the time when the consulate was about to start their regular business, 11 a.m. or sometimes like that. and some of the volunteers started to reach to the temple. And mind you, this is the time, Diwali weekend. So for a lot of Gujarati community members, this is a New Year time. A lot of people, working class people who could not maybe had that kind of a spiritual longing, they were visiting the temple. So that is the time. Now the situation was that there were Khalistani protesters on the both side of the entrance of the temple at 12. And usually what happens is, whenever the protesters are, and this is a regular scene in Canada now, it's like every weekly affair, but from the wherever the point of contention is, the police tries to keep them across the road on the pavements. But that kind of no precautions like that was taken. There were one police cruiser and two police constables there only. And protesters were on the both sides of the gate and on the front of the across the road. So when the cars are coming from the left side, somebody is entering, they are seeing the protesters there, so that protesters can see who is going to the temple. They can take their pictures, they can identify, they can intimidate them. And then if somebody is coming from the right side, they have people right on the road. And this has happened, mind you, at our own events as well. When we do some events, there are people with the loudspeakers. And a little caveat here, there are a lot of times there have been the loud so loud that even after shutting, this is Canada, where we have very soundproof buildings, because the insulations is really good because of the climate we have. But there was still there was a difficulty, there has been difficulty in doing the regular business because of the sound. So all the city councils, bylaws and everything, nobody has to check on there. Police doesn't take those into the account. There are a lot of law enforcement things which are pointed out, which is regularly not taken as an account. So this is what's happening. The devotees were being intimidated, and then the volunteers who were trying to help there, they regularly, couple of times, went there trying to talk senses to those people that, please, if you want to do the protest, can you please go onto the other side of the road. And that started some the teasing and some profanities and all that. At one point, all the volunteers who were doing that work, they decided, okay, or 6, 7 or 8 of us, we will stand at the gate so that they don't intimidate much, and maybe we can also support the incoming traffic into the parking lot. So when they were standing there, gentlemen who were doing the protest started to come inside the temple to tell these devotees that you should leave this, you should go from here. And devotees were there that we are visitors in the temple, and you are telling us to go away from here. So this is the scene. But after that, we saw in the video what happened. Some of the students went and the devotees went out, and they started to talk to them. And that is when around 12:15, when this attack started to happen, that one gentleman who was in the protest came really close to the one of our devotees, right to the nose, and he had to put his hand on his chest, and that was enough intimidation to start this, what we are seeing on the video. They came inside, started to beat people black and blue. Mind you, the lady who was uh, filming this video, she had a stick on her back so bad that she almost fell off, and she was young, in a lady in her 30s. And she is still suffering from that, and from the mental trauma and all that. Now this happened, and after that, police, of course, a lot of police came. And then those policemen started to barricade the devotees, Hindu devotees, inside the temple premises. They created a formation inside the temple premises to keep the volunteers and devotees who started protesting now in the line, while the Khalistani protesters outside were still enjoying the however I want to frame it, like police protection or whatever you want to call it. uh, at this point, very interesting thing happened. Another police gentleman started to randomly punch down a devotee which was standing in the formation. without any provocation, without any, and that also is on video. And that again started another round of attack on the devotees with the police batons. And that's where a lot of devotees got again injured. Now, this happened. Now, again, the 𝗒𝗏 event was also about to happen at 12 p.m. Was supposed to happen at 12 p.m. But being the time difference, that is the time, they know what has happened in the Brampton. In the 𝗒𝗏, the things were already charged. So what did police do? Instead of taking care of, the Khalistani protesters to control them, the devotees who were already agitated by what they saw happen in Brampton, they started to arrest these people. And this is the video you saw where they really roughly, arrested that kid. What happened in 4th November, I can tell more in detail. But before that, if you have any question related to this.
Let's play that
the
one.
video.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nikunj. You can play it.
I don't think I can. Start letting me.
Oh, okay. All right. What is the number? Is it WhatsApp? There are two things with WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So let me try first.
Yep.
Let me try this one.
Yeah, that's the video.
No, but he's a king. He's a king. He's a king. No, he's a king. He's a king. No, please, no.
Yeah, stop right there. See, as you can see, this I want to draw attention to the people here. This boy is a teenage boy. You can see his figure is very frail, but you're seeing 3 cops overpowering him. And you look at the guy's arm. You look at the guy's arm, it's right on his neck. Okay. If this guy pressed harder, he would have broken the guy's neck. You can see that right there. You can see the guy right over there. You see that right there. There. You see that guy's arm right there?
His hand is like this on his neck.
His hand is right there. That is exactly what, instead of the knee bend that happened in the George Floyd case, this is a hand. Now, if that hand went even stronger, he could have broken the guy's neck. Okay, this is an example of police brutality. There is absolute disregard for the fact that this is a minor boy. That is, he's unarmed. He's a kid, as you can see. The guys are yelling there, but they have absolute disregard for this. Luckily, the guy did not get injured seriously. But this is exactly the double standard. There is no such arrest of any Khalistanis out there. Zero arrest of any Khalistanis. But this little boy has been brutally pinned down on the floor, arrested, and taken away like an animal. This is exactly what is going on with Hindus in Canada. The double standard of policing, the brutality that we're facing, and the Hindu-phobic bias that we are experiencing in Canada. Whether you call it Surrey, whether you call it Brampton, it doesn't matter. But this video is a great example. Now I want to show the next video, which is where the first video you saw of the devotees getting punched or hit with the flagpole. Now let's look at the next video, which is where this, that Now you can see right there, the cars are being stopped. They're intimidating the people who are going in. And they are not outside the temple. They are in the temple premises, in the parking lot, which is a legitimate private property. And this is considered a temple property, where they are intimidating devotees. They're brandishing their flagpoles, and they're inviting violence, basically. Okay. So most people think that, oh, this was just nothing. It was just a protest. It's not. You can see very clearly it's a angry Khalistani crowd. So when people say, oh, this is not, it wasn't an attack and things like, no. The moment you enter a Hindu temple, the moment you enter any place, religious place of worship, whether you go inside the sanctum sanctorum or you're inside the parking lot, that is temple grounds. So once you enter with the intent of harming, the intent of raising your dandas and hitting Hindu devotees, you are attacking the temple. It's very plain and simple. And we can see that in the video, no matter how you slice it and dice it. Now, the final video, which I wanted to talk about, is again shows the double standard of the police. Now, this video, there has been a lot of social media chatter about the fact that, oh, Hindu mobs were going to attack they attacked the Gurudwara in Malton. Actually, that did not happen. Okay, that is completely false information. While mobs were walking towards that, all those things were going on. There were a lot of heat in the atmosphere. There was no. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to.
Yeah.
So this video you are about to show is
Yes.
after the events of November 4th.
Yes.
So
I'm gonna come to that. Yeah. So the video that we're about to show is about the double standards of the police. Why is that important? Because what ends up happening is that you have people who are openly brandishing swords in this particular video. They have not been arrested. And what you have seen is on the other side, Hindus got arrested for, essentially doing something similar or even nothing like that. Okay. But in this video, you'll see actual police officers literally standing next to people who actually are holding swords. But nothing is being done. They're just being told to go away from here. So please play that next video. Yeah.
Viewers, please observe closely. You may want to pause it if you want to get a clearer picture.
Yeah. So as you can see here, here's a guy right there. He's got a sword in his hand. You can see that right on the street, walking. And this is a parking lot, by the way, and it's a strip mall. There's another guy with the sword. You can see that right there. So multiple people with swords in their hands. And now they're running towards someone or something, as you can see. And now you're seeing the police going and telling them to go back. You can see right there. You see the cops right next to people with swords. Nothing. They're not doing anything there.
Well, excuse us for the profanity that was displayed, viewers. This is what it is. It is the raw truth that you are seeing here. And Nikunji, it seems to me that there are two sets of laws, one for one segment of the society in Canada and one for the Hindus. And, it's bad enough that Hindus think they are being treated as 8th class citizens in India. Looks like this sort of permeated down to Canada also. I mean, what I'm seeing is beyond description. And viewers, you should be aghast. You should be shocked, because wherever you are living, this could happen to you. I mean, the police seems to be acting upon orders from above, but isn't police supposed to serve and protect? Nikunj, I'm just asking a very philosophical question. You see in many of these cars, to serve and protect. Which part of this are they not understanding? I'm Rishabh, you can tell me, you're a Canadian citizen. In US, I can probably ask these officers a little bit questions straight up and ask them, look, you have to do your job too. I don't know how it is in Canada. Please enlighten us a little bit.
So Sree, this is so very common. What we see in the video, the intimidation, the brandishing of the swords in the Khalistani, referendums, the protests. Canadians get so used to it. It's every weekend in Toronto, there is one extremist group or the other doing some sort of protests and doing all these things, and I think this is the post national concept of Canada we live in, where rights in the name of the um, identity politics, this is where we have led to. So unfortunately, this is where we are. And I want to also tell you a little bit about what happened on the November 4th after we did our protest. A lot of misinformation and disinformation is out there, that there might be some truth on it, and we ask for the fair inquiry and fair investigation of everything. Wherever in if somebody has taken the law in their hand, they should be taken to the justice, and justice should take their own course. But we see over and over, there is a two-tier policing, there is different sorts of laws, and there are different sorts of rules for the advocacy also. There are advocacy organizations who do the consulting with the police chiefs and police offices, but that is the privilege not given to the Hindu advocacy organizations, and that's the unfortunate part. So after our protest ended at 7 p.m., there was because there were 6,000 people started to disperse, and some of course stayed in the temple and premises. Some, when they are going out, it looks like a march, or if the media has decided to call it a march, I don't know if any leader said that we are going to do a solidarity march or anything. I'm not aware of that, but it was just the people going away. And of course there were volunteers who went out to help with the ongoing traffic, because this is right after the very busy road. And one of the volunteer, when they went out, they started to help the cars to go through. There one car came, a white car. The police might have the numbers. I don't know if they have been very as proactive in catching the culprit as they have been to catch the lot of Hindu devotees. There was a pepper spray put on. I don't know if it was a bear spray or a more obnoxious or what, but there was a really harmful spray which was sprayed on 4 5 people. One of them was a senior citizen who, the videos are out on the Twitter and everywhere. He just had to lie down and stay there, and the ambulance had to come to catch him up. And the other kids went out inside and tried to wash their face with the milk and everything. But when that incident happened, that car, after doing that, fastly tried to, I don't know if the intention was to run over the devotees or what, but that's what it appeared to a lot of people. In fact, one of the volunteer, his right foot was the car went above his right foot. Fortunately, he was coming from a work, and he's a worker in a service interest industry. So he was wearing those stilettos protection shoes. So, but still, today he got his X-ray done and went to the doctor and everything. His wife, who went out and shouted that, and after that, the people who were going out started to stop the cars, and cars did not stop. And that's when those people started to thump on the cars and everything. And that's the video we saw everywhere, that the Hindu devotees are trying to create a ruckus and everything. It is wrong to stop the traffic. It's unlawful. But is there a context of a person getting injured? Is there a police management here where 6,000 people coming on? Weren't they be doing this part where they would be helping the traffic? But they were busy. The other, as you just saw the video of the sword, wielding people, there were even on the 4th of November, the same group of people, 12 people with the swords and all kinds of weapons, were standing right in front of the temple and teasing the devotees who were coming out after the protest. So this is the kind of situation we live in, unfortunately, Sriji. This is today's Canada we live in.
It's not enough that all this happened. There was further stuff. Rishabh I want you to explain this one picture that I'm going to show on the screen. Please go ahead. What happened here?
So after there was a video where which went viral on the social media, where Panditji was giving this speech, that we are very kind and considerate community, but when somebody attacks you, and after that, the crowd started to say the random things. The management decided to suspend the priest. Mind you, these Panditji, I have met the Panditji, and he's a very, very joyful person. He's one of the priests who does the job of going to the talking to the Canada is country with a lot of newcomers. He makes sure he talks to all the people who are coming. How are you feeling today? That's this kind of a community reputation he has. Very sweet person, and he was doing this sweet, but management decided to uh, suspend him. Of course, after that, lot of community pressure went on the temple. A lot of community leaders reached out. Hindu Federation and one other new council coming up notoriously did a lot of advocacy in reaching them out. But all we see is the political pressure reaching out to all the levels of the lives of Hindus to do some acts. And you saw after that, Patrick Brown, the famed honorable mayor of Brampton, tried to do white savior act of, okay, these are the good boys who did this good thing, rewarding. And these are the one of the another Gurudwara who did another letter where they condemned the violence. So he's tried to play that, but we have seen for so long, we have been asking, this is not the first time a Hindu temple has been attacked. There has been more than 24 incidences in last 2 or 3 years alone. And this is what we are talking about, only the ones which have been reported. And this is a community I'm talking about, which self-censors itself. It tries to stop spreading anything negative which is happening with him. Because I'm telling this because we have conversations with the temples where they say that we are not going out with this information, but there was another attack on us. There was another break-in happened. If we start counting on the break-ins and the robberies inside the temples, Shriji, on our estimate, and I want you to do any agency to do a fair inquiry, our estimate says more than 100 attacks have happened in the Hindu temples in Canada in last 3 years. And and I know the number sounds like it's a Bangladesh or Pakistan, but this is the reality of Canada. Now, in the nature, of course, the nature of these attacks is not as severe as we see in some of the other countries, but it's still an attack is an attack, and an attack on a sacred site, and it is hurtful. So the community started to do the pressure, and but still there are a lot of political pressure among the Hindu community right now. You would not believe the number of calls I got on the day we were going to protest. My phone did not stop ringing from all parts of the community members, from the leaders, from everybody wanted to stop this protest, including the Hindu Sabha temple had to do Facebook post, WhatsApp messages, Twitter, every medium that this protest is cancelled. But even after all these trying to doxing and misinformation, everything, still 6,000 people were there on the ground to protest. And fortunately, after what they did, there are a lot of community backlash on their social media, that there was a significant drop in last 3 days in this temple after this act of sacking or suspending the priest. Some reports tell that there are only in last 3 days there is the less than $10 of the donation per day is the figure that is happening, and almost nobody is visiting the temple. So maybe they smelled the coffee and they tried to do the right thing, but I wish the wording of the letter could have been better.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rishabh ji. Priyanka, before I cut to Nikunj, do you have any questions of Rishabh or Nikunj?
No, I just have a comment which I liked something that Rishabhji said. Now, we know that this Khalistani movement has deep roots. In fact, I think, Sree, the last time that we spoke, I mentioned on your show that I was talking to my dad about Khalistani movement, and he mentioned that Khalistani movement has been there since I was in college. So now, if you think about it, 1980s, it's been decades, right, of the
40 years.
Khalistani movement. But now they have the power of, as Rishabhji mentioned, they have the power of misinformation and disinformation. And why do I say the power of misinformation or disinformation, right? Because now they have social media. It's quite clear that this movement is still alive because it is a nexus. They have organized it. This is, I moved back to the US in 2023. And this is not the first temple that I am seeing being destroyed or attacked by Khalistanis. It's so sad. But with that being said, we also have to think of why. When we speak about misinformation, right? Misinformation is basically misleading information. But it's when you see the plethora of it on social media, because that's the first thing that I do. Rishabhji probably talks to all of the people and he's on ground, which is very, very important. But the first thing as a digital journalist that I do is I see what's online. There is a ton of exaggerated, incorrect narratives about what happened. It's all about human rights abuses at that point in time, and not towards the Hindus. It's all about, this is a non-political event, and on top of that, you have a prime minister who turns a blind eye to it, or who just doesn't say anything. In fact, I'm surprised he said that this is unacceptable. He's made a remark for this one, but what about all of the others? Disinformation is also very dangerous because it's deliberately false information put out there. And Khalistani movement is known for this. They are known to manipulate opinions on social media. They are known to agenda set on social media. Online, I've seen them, even during Delhi riots, I've seen them use the same disinformation tactics about, at that point in time, because it's Delhi riot, India's treatment of Sikhs, to ignite anger, rally support, and all of this. Everyone just turns a blind eye to it. Everyone. I see some comments. I think Nishaji made a very good comment of what first came to my mind as Rishabhji was talking and Nikunjji was talking. She said that it's an eye-opener to, parents who want to send their kids to Canada. And as a professor, I would say that was the first thing that came to my mind. I would not want to send my daughter to Canada looking at all of this. What am I supposed to do? If she goes to a temple on Friday, is she going to get attacked? Is she going to get, slashed by a sword because police are just turning a blind eye? Is she going to be in the place of that kid that we saw? It really angers you. And, I guess that's not a question, Shriji, but, just hearing about it as, just as an individual, as a journalist, as a Hindu, it's against our dharma to kind of stoop as low as they do. But at the same time, I see a lot of comments saying that we need to have a voice. We need to fight back. I try to do that through my videos. I know Nikunjji tries to do a lot of that. Rishabhji tries to do a lot of that. Shriji, you try to do a lot of that. But there are 4 of us here. It just makes me really angry.
Yeah.
Also, thank you, Priyanka. Also, a lot of stuff saying that, you're taking pot shots at Sikhs. Nobody's taking pot shots at Sikhs. This is a set of 2-bit thugs. 2-bit thugs. That's all it is. It's got nothing to do with the religion. Sikhs are as much Hindus as we are. So
It's got nothing to do. It's got to do with the radical nutcases that we see outside this temple.
Yeah.
On that point, I want to say.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Nikunj, go ahead first.
No. Please go ahead. It's fine.
So on that point, I want to say, Shriji, that the temple where this event was happening, the consulate did, the 80% population who was benefiting from that were Sikhs. If you have been to this temple, every Dussehra festival, this temple does one of the biggest Dussehra in Canada. This time, there were close to 40,000 people at one place attended Dussehra. Whole area was jammed, and more than 50% crowd were Sikhs. So and whenever you go to this temple, all you see are Sikhs and Hindus together. So this is a temple. And here, and we hear from so many Sikh community members who come to us, and they are more scared than Hindu Canadians are, because they live in the close community. They cannot speak up, and because if anybody speaks up against them, the targeting there is even more vehemently obnoxious. And I don't even want to go into detail how bad it goes there, but they are even more scared with this. Another point I want to say, because we are talking about this issue, that Pannoon, of course, put the target on my back, and he said, I tried to incite people and everything, but everything I said and we did is in front of cameras, and whatever I said is there. We never platformed anybody who had any hateful messaging, as the video has been seen. The very fact that Ron Banerjee was saying what he was saying on his megaphone in the crowd, where nobody, if you see at the video, nobody was listening to him, everybody was passing by, was because he was not given platform. And believe you me, there was pressure on us on getting so many people to allow them to speak, but we did not, because we are considerate about, and we are careful. We care for the community, we care for all of them. When we are speaking up about Khalistani violence, we are fighting for Hindus and Sikh Canadians who are at the brunt of this targeted attacks. But on the social media and the misinformation and everywhere, they are putting my pictures and all kind of things they are doing. So, but that's the kind of intimidation tactics they have been doing. There is a laundry list of journalists who have been attacked, and we have talked about that. There is a list of politicians, including the premier, including the sitting, in India, like chief minister, prime minister, to the radio, Air India chief, and everything. Which person of the power this community, extremist community has not attacked?
Yeah, no, it's actually the point is, we have made very careful not to platform anyone who has blind hatred for everybody. Okay, so the gentleman Ron Banerjee, who was arrested by, he has nothing to do with CoHNA. He has nothing to do with any Hindu organization. Okay, he is he has acting in his own capacity, and as Rishabh said, that we did not allow him the microphone on stage because of those reasons, because of what we know about him. So whatever he said has nothing to do with any organization who was at that peaceful march, which, by the way, was from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., as I mentioned earlier. So that's really important. The second point is, as a Hindu organization, we have been extremely careful not to call all Sikhs as Khalistanis or all Khalistanis as Sikhs. Those two words don't go together. Okay, even the Sikh community within that, they have mentioned it very clearly that they don't condone this, but they are very scared, just like many Hindus are. So we very carefully not use the word Sikh very, very carefully, because we don't want to show that Sikhs are like this. No, these are Khalistanis. They're extremists. Their behavior is completely unacceptable. And also, one more thing, the idea that this was a pro-India protest, again, they're trying to spin this as a pro-India protest, where there was no discussion about India. It was all about the violence that was against Hindus. But they're trying to spin this that CoHNA and others are pro-India organizations. We are a pro-Hindu organization, whether it's Indian Hindus, Bangladeshi Hindus, Nepali Hindus, Guyanese Hindus, white Hindus, black Hindus, it doesn't matter. So we want to be categorically clear that this was not a pro-India protest. We cannot control people for bringing Indian flags. Much like the funny part, if you watch some of these Khalistani videos, in Canada, they have American flags. They're carrying American flags to a Canadian protest in front of a Brampton Hindu temple, which is hilarious, according to me. So this is the type of stuff that goes on, and that is missed in these false narratives, the misinformation and disinformation that is out there very prevalently. So I just wanted to state that for the record, that this was not a pro-India protest. It was a pro-Hindu peaceful march and a demonstration in the mandir itself.
Thank you so much, Nikunji. Thank you so much, Rishabh-ji. Viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And thanks to all of you for staying this late up at night. All three of you are late in the night. I'm at a comfortable time still, but my hypocrisy, I couldn't do it sooner than this. So thank you all once again. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.